Hi, how are you? Justin Brennan here with the Brennan Real Estate Group here at Harcourt. So I get a question from clients quite often now that you're starting to see more solar being put on homes, because if you actually look at the last 2 years in the United States, more solar panels have been put on properties than in the previous 30 years. And that's just because of all the tax incentives and what the government's doing to really push that throughout the United States. So to answer your question, an average system in the United States, when put on a home and you own it, right? If you own it, it's going to increase your value on average about 15 grand, and that's based on studies that they've done over the last couple of years. Now, there's 4 ways to really put the solar panels on your properties. Okay, so you got to pay attention to these things because there's solar companies out there selling all kinds of stuff. There's 4 ways to do it. One is you physically own it, put it on pay the cash, and you own it outright. Okay. The other one is a lease. The other one is a purchasing power agreement, which is essentially kind of like a lease, and there's some other details in that I can get into in later videos. And then the last one is essentially a loan, like you would get on a house, and then you pay it off over time to where you fully own the asset later, okay? At the end of the day, let's make this real simple so you guys understand this, because most people don't realize, at least owners, when you go to sell your home later down the road, if you have a lease or purchasing power agreement, or in some cases even a loan on it, you have to realize that the buyer who's going to buy your property not only has to now qualify for their home loan to own your home, but they also need to qualify for the lease, the purchasing power agreement, or in some cases, obviously the loan that you already have on the property. So because of that, it can actually decrease the value of your house. So when you thought, hey, I got solar and it's going to increase my value, not really. It actually, because it's creating another layer of liability that the buyer has to be able to afford, which drops their purchasing power and decreases the value of your property. So keep that in mind when you're going to put solar on your property. Ideally, you know, this is the way to go, or this is the way to go. No and no. Don't lease and don't PPA. That's purchasing power agreement. I'll get into this detail later. You got to be real careful with this. Otherwise, you think your value is going up, right? You think you're getting value by putting solar on your house. Not if you lease it, and not if you put a purchasing power agreement on your house. Your value may actually go down, and your buyers may have trouble, and they're running away. They're getting scared because people are finding out once they get into escrow that, look, I thought the buyer was going to love it, and they'd get more money out of the house, reduce their utility bills, and yes, that's all true, but now they need to qualify for this as well. And so when they thought they could qualify for your home, now they may not be able to because they got to qualify for this in order to buy your house. So keep that in mind. It's kind of some stuff that's going around. You're starting to see a lot more of it because so much solar is being put on properties, and now homes are beginning to sell in the last 24 months since that solar has been put on. So I hope this helps make a little bit of sense, and then I'll get into more details. If you have other questions, kind of click on the contact info here, and I'll be happy to kind of answer questions over the phone or via email or text, whatever it may be. So until next time, have a great day.
For more information, please contact Justin Brennan at 619-823-2120 or email justin@thelajoyalife.com.